of the human control players that actually shape the outcome of the game. It's like being in a horror movie, and you finally get to say, what would you do in a horror movie? Instead of yelling at the TV going, why'd you do that? You idiot. Now you'll be the idiot doing it. We are.
I have to say, I've only got to start jumping in with their play tests, and while you always think that you're so much smarter than those people on screen when you're watching the movies, the ease with which I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm the dumb guy. Like, oh, they'll run off into the forest alone and get it. This will work out just fine. It's amazing that like, you suddenly realize I'm done doing it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I might as well just take off my clothes as well.
It's not confirmed.
While I play.
That's not confirmed. Okay. But so we're going to actually show you some cool assets. We don't know if you've actually seen any of our screenshots or anything from the game, so we're going to show you a few in case you missed them.
So we'll start with the key art right here.
Yeah, that's Part 3 Jason, if you didn't know, played by the late Richard Brooker, but all the hardcore fans know exactly which version.
He's also known as Big Neck Jason.
Yeah, he's got the big, he's like linebacker Jason, we call him Big Neck. He had a big, in the movies he had a back prosthetic on that you couldn't see because they never filmed him from the side or the back.
Well,
so that's why he looks so big.
If you look in the background, that's the barn.
That is the barn from Part 3.
From Part 3.
But that's not confirmed yet. We don't know if that's in the game.
It's in the concept art.
No one, hey, concept art lies all the time. But yeah, so that was our key art that we released. So Jason from Part 3 has been confirmed. Do you have Sackhead?
I do.
So there's Sackhead from Part 2. He's also confirmed for our game.
And not to be confused with Sackboy from,
Although, we'll include Sackboy.
Yeah, I love that.
That would be awesome. Each Jason will have his own unique weapon. And there's a weapon in that scene somewhere, but I won't point it out, that he'll have. So that's part of what we unlocked.
There's something going on here that never happened in Part 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so this kill, which actually got unlocked on our Kickstarter. So this kill that you see is actually from Part 3. Jason grabbed Rick in Part 3 and smashed his head. It's a famous scene where the eyeball pops out. And so we gave it to Sackhead this one. But yeah, that's on purpose. So yeah, each of our Jasons, we're going to have multiple Jasons unlock. And actually, we're pretty close to the stretch goal, I think, where we get to unlock 3 new Jasons. And we're going to let the fans vote on which 3 new Jasons that we want to put in the game. So we have 2, 3, and 7 right now. So that's going to be awesome to see 3 more Jasons go in. So here's our, this is in-engine, this is our actual game. So some cabins, and of course there's a lake, which you may or may not want to go into. There's a dock, there'll be a boat beside that too. So these are some of our screenshots, and the type of visuals you can expect. It is multiplayer only. There's the Crystal Lake sign, which is very particular, by the way. You wouldn't know by looking at it, but there's a lot of detail there that hardcore fans will know if you leave out, like the waterfall in that little picture. Trust me, you don't leave that out. You'll never hear the end of it.
So I'm actually looking at these beautiful screenshots, but
Yep.
sort of where is, I'm asking a question I know an answer to, but where is sort of the game right now? It really is just kind of in that prototype phase.
We're at a prototype. Well, Kevin, you never really get out of prototype until you,
Especially with multiplayer.
especially when you're still bringing in funds to fund possibly other features. So you're always going to prototype new features. We do have a prototype build, but we also have a production build. So.
Yeah, essentially what you're seeing is pictures from our prototype. And where we're at right now is we're actually ramping off the prototype and going full swing into full production. So we have crazy amounts of assets being made, detailed to all ridiculous levels of murder.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this.
You want to talk about that? What is it?
This is one of the levels.
Oh yeah, so this is
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is Crystal Lake, and I think that there's one thing, and even I got caught up in this when I first started with you guys, is we tend to only think of Crystal Lake as the camp, but that's really only featured in the first 2. Yes, it's the first 2 where it is still the summer camp and there are counselors.
Yeah.
But in the later movies, it still takes place in Crystal Lake, but it's a much larger body of water with other edifices and other places to stay.
What's awesome is there's actually no official map of Crystal Lake, but the hardcore fans have put together what they think Crystal Lake actually looks like, and it's very big. It goes for miles. Part 2, 3, and 4, the films take place within a couple days. Just because the movie came out a year later doesn't mean it was 1 year later. So Jason walks from one point to the next in Crystal Lake, and actually just starts murdering for each movie. And it's not until the end of 4 when Tommy Jarvis beats him to death with a machete that they actually bury him. And then that's why Part 5 is an imposter Jason, but 2, 3, and 4 are very quick. But he's roaming this whole entire countryside of Crystal Lake. So we're incorporating some of that big open world to our multiplayer setting. And this is our generic Camp Crystal Lake that encompasses a lot of assets from all the films.
It's a small part of what would be all of Crystal Lake proper and the
Yeah.
campgrounds and everything around it. So
And we have some other maps planned that are some stretch goals that we can't wait to reveal. They're going to be so awesome, and they're going to be from the film. So can't wait for that.
All right, so maybe we should talk about the part that I imagine many people would want to know about, and that is, what is the experience of playing as Jason? Because when you're a counselor, you can run and you can scream and you can try to hide, but Jason, you're a killing machine.
Yeah,
And the baddest one ever.
absolutely. Essentially, the way of thinking about playing Jason is kind of a feeling of isolation to some degree, and that's good. Because when you're out there, you have one mission, and that's to murder teens having sex.
They may or may not be having sex in our
They're
game.
not having sex.
But at least they've been thinking about it.
Let's not freak the SRB out yet.
Yeah, he can feel it in the air, and so that gets him going.
So Collins song.
So essentially, whenever you're Jason, the biggest thing to always remember about Jason is he's unstoppable killing machine. He's an absolute pure badass. And a badass in an angry, ridiculous, no one can understand him other than he's going to go forward and just keep wrecking people. I always have my own theories, and when I've been studying Jason so much lately, it's, you know, he's an artist. Really, he is. He's actually. He's an artist, and dead teenagers are his canvas. And it's, you know, it's tools.
He's not kidding, by the way. This is something he really thinks.
Yeah, really.
We just came up about a week ago.
There may not be some missing persons in Colorado. I don't know.
don't say anything.
Yeah, right? So, anyways, whenever you're playing Jason, so that's a big thing. Like, you didn't try to make Jason be somebody that's like, oh, it has to be this thing that's so balanced that everyone needs to feel like, oh, okay, maybe I have a chance of winning if I see Jason. No, if you see Jason, you should feel like you're about to die. Your chances of living are slim, and that's the experience you have in the movies. That's the experience you're going to have playing this game. If you see Jason come around the corner, you're like, oh, shit. My straw was just pulled, and now's my time to die. So you got to run. You got to run, you got to try to hide, because you didn't play your cards right, you're making too much noise, you're doing too many things or something, or maybe he just went down the Rolodex and said, I'm gonna kill that guy, and you're just the next one, and you're gonna die. That's playing Jason. And the biggest thing is we had to make sure Jason had the abilities not only to make it so counselors you still have a chance, you still can have fun, but make sure it's not, you know, so insanely OP that you're just, okay, you come in and everyone wants to be Jason because you know you're going to be the one that's just wrecking house. It's, again, like what you were talking about, it's a hide and seek thing. And it's really worked out well in a prototype. People, when you play as Jason, you have fun, but it's an isolated kind of feeling. You have your powers, you have multiple amounts of powers that allow you to get around the map quickly, find counselors, hope you track them down. But you know, there is still a chance that if you're that bad of a player, you're going to let all the counselors escape. But, I mean,
what I found is that when you're playing Jason, you're probably going to kill someone.
Yeah.
Or you're going to kill everyone. It's an interesting way in which you create challenge there. It's like, everyone, one counselor.
Yeah, it's like the first time Adam killed me, it was ridiculous. The first time we caught him in the game, I was like making fun of him on the team chat. I was like, oh yeah, Adam's not gonna get me, and I ran out and around the corner, and he's right in front of me. I was the first one to get killed.
I cleaned up. I was so happy with it.
Yeah, especially killing Kevin first. That was awesome. Because Kevin's like, oh, Adam's Jason? I'm cool. So Kevin starts picking around, and all of a sudden he says,
down the path.
Kevin died. I was like, awesome. Yeah, that's really Jason, and he has multiple powers he can use to track you down. But like Kevin said, he's an unstoppable killing machine, but at the same time, in the films, he does die. But it's only it's buried in the movie by very, very powerful people who kept their composure. And that's a big part of our game with the fear system. So certain counters, like the girl next door, perhaps, she might be able to have better composure, which is going to keep your fear meter down, and you'll better shot killing Jason. So it can't be done, but like Kevin said, you should never look at Jason and think, oh, I'll kill him. I can do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to stand here and take
It's
him off.